Mic is muted. What's up, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning in. We're back. It's on the ball. The guys are here. Got a lot to talk about. So, obviously, here in the chat, appreciate you. Make sure you let us know. Say what's up. Anything we talk about, want to hear from you. So, just put that in the chat. Uh, got free agency to talk about. Somewhat. A lot of the major moves, I guess, so far happened last week, but still some things to talk about. March Madness is now here, and look, it's like everybody, even if you're not a sports fan, you kind of pay attention to March Madness. You probably do a bracket. You have your own little cheat sheet, whether you go off mascot, team colors. You know how that works in office pools. And then we got to talk about Bam Adebayo, plus some other NBA news that happened today. With that, upper left corner, got Ian, Giants fan. Free agency's been pretty good to you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I can't complain. It's a great time of the year for sports, so I'm definitely happy. Upper right, not guarding the two, he's guarding the three. Brett, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Hang on, let me change my headline for Ian. Here we go. Excellent. I'm doing fantastic. I'm super excited for the show tonight. So let's cook.
What's up, Kerm? Duke fan as well. If you didn't know, my cousin went there to study law. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, we'll talk about the bracket in a little bit. We'll see what everybody thinks about Duke and kind of their draw. So what's up? Happy dude. You got Spring Trap. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. All right, so we'll start with NBA. They had their expansion vote. They're going to have the expansion vote, obviously, towards Vegas and Seattle, which are the plans. I saw a story where they're like, oh, Celtics fans should be breathing a sigh of relief because they're not moving to St. Louis because Jason Tatum's from St. Louis. And I was like, oh, Lord, we're doing this. But it was the most random post I saw, and I was just like, it's got to be a slow day. But
yeah, because they're gonna move the Celtics from Boston to St. Louis.
Well, there's like the Celtics are gonna like leave Jason Tatum open in the expansion draft because it's St. Louis because he's like, I want to go play home, so let me go. Like it's crazy, but that it is what it is.
Yeah, sorry, Tatum, you're gone. Baylor Shireman, you're protected, man. What?
Man's locked in. So any reason to think they don't vote on expansion, and because we know the two cities, I think we talked about before. I don't think anybody has any reason to not like the two cities that they're going to. But yeah, do you think there's any chance this vote doesn't go through?
No.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just don't think there's a chance that this vote doesn't go through. There's just really no point for it not to go through. Like, how long have we been wanting a team in, Seattle for? So I really don't think there's a reason that this vote doesn't go through because we know they're not. I don't think they're looking to move a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, this is the best way to get a team to Seattle. So let's do it.
Right. And so I guess another question because we know that some people look at the NBA product, think there is a bit of a maybe issue talent-wise spread across the league. Does that worry you in any way, bringing in two new franchises? Ian?
No, I don't think it worries me at all with that. I mean, because they're going to be able to protect how many, like 5 players?
I think you protect 8.
Okay, yeah. So they'll be able to protect 8. So, and then they'll get first and second picks for those drafts, or like divvy it up, like one person gets the first pick and one around the other. Okay. So yeah, so it really doesn't bother me at all. It's all how they're going to develop talent, see if they can develop some trades to get some people to go there, do free agency. I mean, the talent level is going to be spread out, like going to teams like the powerhouse teams, no matter what. You're going to have certain players, they're going to draw certain players towards them because they want to be teammates. They want to go compete for a championship. So I think that's with all sports. They want to play with the best players, and however they get there there's really nothing that people can do about that to kind of sway that from happening.
Okay. Yeah, Brad, any, I guess, concern about the talent pool being thinned out too much with 2 extra teams?
It'll probably be rough for them for the first 2-3 years, but no, I mean you can find talent all over that. We always say it's an era where there's just so much talent. Why doesn't so and so have their own team? How is this guy buried on the bench? Well, guess what? Now we can start seeing even more talent in the NBA. It's going to lead to like I said, the first couple of years probably going to be rough for these expansion teams, but you know what? I'm cool with it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't see an issue with it. And we know leagues love the whole symmetry and everything. 32 will be where the NBA stands. 16 in the East, 16 in the West. That's where a lot of these professional leagues want to get to. Kerm says Minnesota and Memphis, either one could move to the East. Yes, that's where the decision's going to come down to. I think we talked about this also a couple of weeks ago. I think the consensus is probably Minnesota moving into the Central with Brett's Bucks. So, get to see Ant a few times a year within the division. But they could also maybe do some moving around with the teams in the West as well. But, we'll see how all that shakes out. So that was just quickly wanted to kind of get that out of the way. Sticking with the NBA, though. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, look, it's the perfect storm, too, right? The Supersonics would start playing, I believe, the 2028 season.
Mm-hmm.
You know whose contract ends in the 2028 season? Kevin Durant. We can finish his career where it truly started in Seattle. I see what the NBA scriptwriters are doing here. I get it. It's perfect. Good job, guys.
I mean, we know that narrative will absolutely have legs once they announce Seattle and we know the time frame. Yeah, I can definitely see that. And, Durant being who he is, I'm sure he's going to love it. Him and all his burner accounts. So, sticking in the NBA, we had a historic night. Bam Adebayo drops 83 points against the lowly Washington Wizards, who I got to watch a couple of games after that against the Celtics, and I was like, yeah, they just don't guard big men. That's clearly their philosophy. They had Cater rolling to the hoop wide open. I was like, makes a lot of sense why Bam probably had a career night. But looking at the career night, though, a lot of people have kind of criticized some of the, I guess we'll say, antics late in the game, fouling Washington to get extra possessions, to get the ball to Bam, missing free throws, all that kind of stuff. So looking at a lot of that and everything, the 43 free throws, 22 3-point shots, let's say 5 years from now, will it be seen as a legacy defining thing for Bam, or will it be forgettable? Where do you stand on that?
When I wake up tomorrow, if I woke up tomorrow and I pull up my phone, I'm going to go on Google. I'm going to look, NBA point scored leader. It's going to say Wilt Chamberlain, Bam Adebayo. I'm going to wake up 5 years from now. Pull out my phone. We're going to Google it. Who is the NBA points leader? Well, granted, maybe things will have changed. Somebody pays Bam, but as it stands, Wilt Chamberlain, Bam Adebayo. You can't take that away from him. The first 70 points, too, by the way, were ethical.
Mm-hmm.
You can argue that the last 13 weren't, but the first 70 definitely were. If you watch the Wizards play defense, they were just hacking them all night. Somebody made a compilation of every single foul called on Bam, and genuinely there wasn't really one that I went, oh man, he's getting calls. If you ever watch Bam play basketball, that dude does not get a superstar whistle. So the refs are just calling stuff just because, it's Bam. We got to get his numbers up. They haven't done that all year for him. So why would they start now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this discourse. It's not unethical. Spoiler alert. If you want to get to 70, or 80 points, it's a really good chance it's not going to be ethical. You might be able to get to 70 pretty ethically and pretty cleanly, but to get to 80, 90, 100, yeah, there's going to have to be some shenanigans. So you could say, well, Wilt got to 100. Guess what? If you hated last night's game, by all records, Wilt Chamberlain getting to 100 was the same exact thing as Bam Adebayo getting to 83.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much him just at the end of the game, they're just fouling to get, Wilt the record or get Wilt to 100. We can talk about, well, Kobe still has the record. 81's ethical, right? He was up like 15 with 4 minutes to go on a 14-win Raptor team. Like, yes, they needed the first 73 from Kobe. Absolutely. But with 4 minutes to go, you absolutely did not need the last, you didn't need that last, 8. But I also think that if you have a chance to do something cool like set a record, you should do it. That's why I'm not going to sit here and tear apart like, well, Bam's wasn't ethical. Yeah, Kobe's wasn't ethical. Wilt's wasn't ethical. Who cares? They did something cool. Leave it at that. Like, congratulations, Bam. That was sick.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely one way to look at it. I think it's also, some of it is, people with everything surrounding Kobe, obviously the way that he, died and everything like that. Having Bam kind of pass him was never going to be, probably never going to be a popular thing for anybody if they did ever do it. So I do think some of that has worked into it. And I mean, it is what it is. Somebody's going to do it eventually. It just happened to be Bam. What's going on? Let's see. It wasn't a big name player that did it. I mean, that's probably a small percentage of the reaction as well.
But like counterpoint, doesn't that make it more fun when it's somebody random? Like when it's somebody like truly unexpected, I think it makes it more fun. Like I didn't see people complaining when, Malachi Flynn dropped 50 or Corey Brewer or guys like Andre Miller. Mm-hmm. And I know 83 is a lot different than 50, obviously, but my point is I think that's kind of what makes the league fun and exciting when the unexpected happens. And we got the ultimate unexpected event that happened with Bam Adebayo.
Yeah. I mean, Ian, for you, will Bam's performance be a legacy thing or forgettable to you?
I don't think it's going to be forgettable at all. I mean, the way that, like Brett said, like when you have when you have a shot at going for a record, your team's kind of going to rally around you to kind of get you over that hump, to kind of get your name etched into the history books. And I think that was kind of cool that the Heat did that for Bam. And I mean, he had a great performance. Like Brett said, like the first 70 points, pretty ethical. Last 13, yeah, his team was really trying to get him over that hump to break Kobe's record. And I can understand why people might be a little upset that Kobe's record was broken, but hey, records are made to be broken. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, so I guess the next question would be, now looking at Bam's 83, is there a player in the league today that you think is most equipped to possibly score 84 in a game and eclipse Bam's record? Who would that player be to you?
You know what? I think there's actually a couple that could. Obviously, I think a guy like SGA could. I think if Kevin Durant ever truly emptied the clip, he absolutely could. I think there are players that can do it. I think the challenging part, though, about something like 80 points is a lot of these players want to win, right? So it has to be situational as well. Like, you have to be able to get to like 70 in the flow of the game. And once that happens, then all of a sudden you can start, forcing the issue. But I think that's the challenge. I think there are guys that can do it. I think Kevin Durant could do it. I think SGA could do it. I think Steph, if he just started flame throwing threes up and got super hot, could do it. The real question is, though, who will be put in the position to do it? Because it has to be like a certain conditions to be met in order to really accomplish this. So, but yeah, no, I think guys like someone like SGA could do it.
Okay. So I said to name the person who does it next. You had to put, I don't know, like FanDuel, you had to put like $1,000 on a player. who would you put it down on?
Peyton Pritchard. No, I'd probably put it on SGA.
Hey, look, Pritchard can get hot. You never know. But yeah, who would you put that money down on?
Honestly, I'd probably put it down on SGA.
Okay. Ian, who would you put your money down on?
So I would agree with Brett that it's kind of got to be situational for this to happen. For instance, like with Bam, you had Tyler Hero out. I mean, I think what they had Wiggins out too, Powell, Jovic. I mean, they had a lot of their guys out. So for me, when I'm looking at that roster, their main source for scoring is going to be Bam. Their most consistent presence on the court. So for me, it would have to be situational, but somebody that is going to be. I agreed that SGA could do it, but maybe like Wemby could do it too.
Okay.
I mean, if you got like no Stephon Castle out there, you've got no. Why am I blanking on names right now? But yeah, like if their key players aren't
like
out
Harper,
there,
guys like that, yeah.
If Harper's out, yeah. If it's just Wemby on the court with just like role players in there, they can just force feed him to get him to 84, no problem.
Okay. Yeah. I think for me, neither one of you said his name, so I'm definitely glad about that. I would probably put my money on Ant. Because of how much we see him with the ball in his hands, we know how Minnesota's offense is. As long as Rudy Gobert doesn't get in the way, we know Rudy sometimes thinks he can turn to Dirk or something like that. But
he does too. That's the funny part.
He would be the guy for me because Ant never got hot from three. We know he's a very emotional player. Like he would be the type that if he looked up and saw he was like 50, 55 in the third quarter, like he would absolutely go for it.
You know what's funny? I actually made the joke to Mo last Thursday on And One. I was like, I think the funniest guy that could possibly get 84, even though I know it will never happen, would be Rudy Gobert. Because I just need to see Twitter's reaction if Rudy got to 84, because that would be the biggest meltdown ever. Like Twitter servers might crash. It would be great.
Yeah, as bad as the Bam conversations have been, like if Rudy did do it, it would be a million times worse. All right, so Brett's got SGA, Ian's got Wemby, I have Ant, and as history would have it, it might not even be a player that's even in the league right now, but it's kind of fun to think about now. And probably because a guy like Bam did 83, might be some other lesser known guy that ends up doing it. I know, Brett, you joked. One night it could be Peyton Pritchard. Tatum's out, Brown's out, and he just goes, well, it's my night to shine, and he just lights up somebody. I don't know. He's done it in the little Drew League thing, I think, whatever that league's called.
Marjan Beauchamp has been like an 80-point game in the Pro-Am, and Jamal Crawford.
Yeah. All right, so switch gears. Let's go to the NFL. Free agency has hit a point where I think it's a good time where you can kind of look back on some of the moves and everything that's happened. First question would be, what was maybe the most surprising signing of the free agency period? Whether it was a good surprise or a surprise in that you were like, that guy got that from that team. What was that one move for you that stood out for that reason?
Did you say it stood out in a good way or stood out in a bad way?
Just stood out in general, whether it was good fit, good money, or how did that guy get that money from that team?
Oh my gosh, I mentioned this before the show started, but by the way, that's a good shout, Tyler Linderbaum. I mean that in a good way. That was great money, well spent for the Raiders. They needed that. Mine is definitely just Bradley Chubb. Like 3 years, 43 from the Bills. This is a guy who's a speed rusher, but he's been getting injured and been on the decline year after year. Like, to me, that is mind blowing because the Bills don't have a ton of cap space. So I feel like you have to be smart. And maybe, like, if a different team gave that money to Bradley Chubb, it's whatever. If a team that had a ton of cap space. But the reality is, the Bills, once again, this is a team that wants to compete. And when you decide to invest that heavily into a player and you don't have a lot of cap, it better be a hit. And I really just don't think Bradley Chubb will make the impact that they're looking for.
Okay. Ian, I guess what was the signing for you that caught your attention?
There was a couple like that. Alec Pierce, $112 million 4-year deal. That's a lot for just a deep threat. Another one that I thought was kind of a little bit weird for me was just because of the organization and the player that they signed. It's the Panthers signing Jalen Phillips to a 4-year, $120 million deal. I don't necessarily think that it was a bad signing. I just think it's kind of funny that they traded away Brian Burns, who wanted $30 million a year from the Panthers.
Yeah.
And then they go out and get somebody who's injury ridden in Jalen Phillips and pay him $120 million over 4 years, which is $30 million average. So I just thought that was kind of surprising that now they're like, oh yeah, maybe we do need a premier edge rusher.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the Phillips one did. The Phillips one caught my eye too. Do you think that maybe last season and the way that it went maybe changed the way they kind of viewed the edge rushing position? And maybe when Brian Burns wanted it, they didn't think that they would be, I guess, coming off of a season like last year where they make the playoffs and looking at the offseason, you could kind of look at the Panthers as maybe the favorite in that division for next season.
Right.
So maybe for Phillips, it was just that perfect timing for him, Carolina being in the spot that they are in, that they gave him that money instead of Brian Burns, which I'm sure you're mad about because, you got Brian Burns out of it.
I don't care. We got him for a second. That's a steal for me.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was surprising that how all of a sudden a year later they're like, oh, yeah, what's $30 million was too steep a year ago. Now it's okay. This is fine. Just for the injury problems that Phillips has had, that's kind of making me question that move. Yes, they do need an edge rusher. Yes, they do need more help. But Jalen Phillips, locking him up for that long with that amount of money, just kind of didn't seem like a fit for me, for them.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I guess with that kind of money, he probably needs to have like a, Julius Peppers kind of impact in Carolina. I will see if he can live up to it. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes money makes you maybe the best player you can be, and sometimes you might get a little bit lazy. So we'll see what he does with that. I guess also some news from free agency. AJ Brown. Everybody's looking at the AJ Brown market. The Eagles have come out and said they're really not looking to trade him right now. Do you believe the Eagles? Because we do know there are financial ramifications where if they wait until after June 1st, the cap hit is lessened. So do you think it's something where they're just going to wait it out until June and then move off of him? Or do you actually think AJ Brown is in Philly next season?
I don't think he's going to be in Philly next season. I think they're going to send him out the same way that they acquired him on draft day. They're going to look to see what teams are calling for receiver. Maybe a receiver that a team wanted goes early, like maybe somebody was really high on Tate or Tyson, and they get him, and then they call the Eagles and ask for AJ Brown, what the price is, and try to get a deal done over the phone. And that's my guess at how he goes out. But I don't think he's going to be an Eagle next year.
Right.
Yeah, I almost think that I do believe them when they say they're not looking to move him right now because it doesn't make any sense to move him until the June 1st if you're looking to move him. But I think he will. I think Look, I think that last year you can put a lot of the blame on schematic problems in the Kevin Patullo offense. Was just kind of a mess. And I think when you have a talent like AJ, unless if like the locker room's that bad, then yeah, move him June 2nd. But if there's really no locker room issues with him, then I personally just wouldn't move on from him. I still think there's a lot of talent to be had. Plus, you save more money next year if you just literally wait a year. There's an out in his contract. So I think that I think they're telling the truth, but I could be wrong because I don't know how the locker room is. Because if the locker room's just messed up because of AJ, then yeah, then you just kind of have to. You don't have a choice at that point.
Okay. I mean, look, as a Patriots fan, obviously, a lot of the rumors are coming towards my team. They did say like the Rams were involved, but then the report like the Rams are kind of out now on the sweepstakes. So I guess it's almost looking like when the Eagles are ready, it's gonna be whether or not the Patriots match the asking price as to whether or not AJ Brown stays. But we'll obviously see as that kind of as we get closer to June 1st. Obviously, we'll pay more attention to that. Or Ian, like you said, draft comes if the Patriots are there at 31, hoping maybe a wide receiver falls to them. They don't get him, and AJ Brown's still available. Maybe something like that, happens. But we'll see. Another move I want to talk about: Justin Fields traded to the Chiefs. Obviously, Mahomes coming off the injury. We'll see when he's ready. Whatever. What exactly is Justin Fields? Like, coming out of Ohio State, I was a big fan of Justin Fields. I thought he was going to be a really good NFL quarterback. But now he's been to Chicago. We know Chicago had their issues kind of like supporting him and developing him. He goes to Pittsburgh. He's locked in with Russell Wilson. He gets the start. The minute Russell Wilson's healthy, they just turn the keys over to Russ. Fields moves on to the Jets. We know what the Jets are. Now he's in Kansas City. So as I said, who is Justin Fields? Like, can he be a good quarterback? Is his lot in life as a journeyman? Like, what do you think about Justin Fields in Kansas City now?
I think Justin Fields is a future quarterback one for the St. Louis Battlehawks. He's a NFL caliber backup,
Okay,
but he's not a starter. It feels like that he was failed quite a bit by Chicago early in his career, and he just kept a lot of his bad habits, and now he almost is like scared to throw into even remotely contested tight windows. So, like I think Justin Fields at this point in his career is a journeyman. Like, I think he'll stick around the league for a while, just backing up different quarterbacks. But the idea of Justin Fields quarterback one, I think at this point, I think we can all agree it's gone. It's dead. It's over.
so if Mahomes wasn't ready, let's say Mahomes would be ready week 8, and the Chiefs had to roll with Fields for 7 weeks. How confident would you feel in him in that offense with the coaching staff? They brought Bieniemy back. You got Andy Reid, you got Kelsey and everything like that. How successful could he be? Or is he just that bad that they'll just look awful and everybody be like, can we hurry up and get to week 8 for just to get Mahomes back out there? Do you have any faith in Justin Fields as a starting quarterback?
I mean, if he's facing a bad opponent, he could probably win. He might be able to sneak out a win or two, but not really. He doesn't give me confidence when he's almost seemingly too scared to throw an interception, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when people argue about for Justin Fields, like, he doesn't throw interceptions, I'm like, that's not always a good thing. And the best example of that is Justin Fields, because he's half the time looks too scared to throw into tight windows or try to make plays. So I don't have a lot of faith in him. I have faith in the coaching staff that they could devise a run scheme and a run game to limit the amount of passing attempts and hide his weaknesses. So I think they would at least win 2 or 3. But if it was any longer than week 8 at that point, I'd just be like, Patrick, You're coming back in 2028, big dog. Rest up.
Okay. I mean, Ian, like, what do you think about Justin Fields? I guess
Yeah,
where his career's gone, and now that he's in Kansas City.
I feel like he was failed by the Bears, just with the whole development process in the Bears organization. I feel like when he started to get a little bit of footing in that organization, they shipped him off. He had a really good end of the year. I believe that was 21. He had a good end of that season with the Bears. He's just starting to get some momentum. Then they draft Caleb, ship him off. He gets to Pittsburgh. He had a good couple of 5 games. I think he was 4-1 in his starts with Pittsburgh. He didn't look great in all of them, but he was able to win some of those games. And then just gets to the shit show of the Jets and does absolutely nothing, gets benched for no-name QBs, and now he's going to the Chiefs. And I think that here's an opportunity for him to kind of get back into that rhythm. I believe he's been with Bieniemy before in Chicago. I believe Bieniemy was in Chicago at once.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, I think they overlapped.
So they do have a little bit of a rapport. And Andy Reid's a great offensive head coach. So I think that they can scheme up something for him. Maybe they kind of slot him in, and forget who their other backup is right now. They still have Wentz.
Do they? I think so.
But they might kind of like go back and forth between the two, depending on whether they want to do like a run design play or like a scramble drill, or if they just want somebody that's going to be decisive until Fields can get kind of confident and comfortable in that pocket. I mean, the Chiefs have a great offensive line too, so that's going to help Fields be a little bit more comfortable in the pocket. So hopefully the Chiefs don't fall flat on their face and basically just a loss of a season, but I wouldn't be complaining if it did happen.
I mean, it's, Kelsey's farewell tour. You just want it to be just that bad, huh?
I mean, I really don't care about the Chiefs that all too much. They've had their spotlight for a little bit now. They can get out, make way for somebody else.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes. It's one of those things. I hope Travis has a really good year next year and gets to go out on a high note, if that really is it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Because I would just hate for like somebody who's one of the greatest tight ends of all time to go out on just a really sad season. So like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Chiefs, but I got nothing against them. But I really hope that Travis has a great year next year and gets to end his career on a high note if that's the case.
Right. Yeah. No, I can agree with that. Okay, so I guess another move I want to get your thoughts on. And Brett, this obviously would affect you. Kyler Murray, Vikings starting quarterback. Unless you really want to buy into JJ McCarthy, maybe bouncing back with some competition, it looks like it's Kyler Murray's job. What kind of impact can Kyler Murray have on that offense that obviously JJ McCarthy hasn't shown in his short time there out in Minnesota?
I think that Kyler signing is great for the Vikings. I actually thought the Colts should have considered Kyler before obviously the Daniel Jones extension, which I still think paying Kyler probably is the better option. But no, you know what, I like it. I think the NFC North is going to be a dogfight next year, and the Vikings were a team that were 9-8 with just absolutely incompetent quarterback play. So even if Kyler, I don't need him to be, he doesn't even need to be like a top 5 quarterback or anything crazy like that. Even if he could just come in and play at the level of like a top 15 quarterback between 10 and 15, the team's probably going to sleepwalk their way into 10 wins. So I do love the signing. This was a team that looked really good defensively. Their offense was just a mess. And if Kyler can come and bring some stability to that offense, Vikings are going to be dangerous next year, as much as I hate to say it.
Okay. Ian, what do you think about Kyler Murray with Minnesota, does it make them? Uh, do you view them as kind of a playoff at least caliber team with Kyler at quarterback?
I think that they could be a playoff caliber team with Kyler at quarterback. Their defense was phenomenal last year, even with how terrible J.J. McCarthy played. Their defense kept them in games. Now you're bringing in a more competent quarterback who has a lot of mobility, has a great arm, got a whole bunch of weapons on offense. It's just a great storm for Minnesota right now to have a good playoff run this year.
Yeah, cause I think it's gonna be interesting. Obviously, Packers. You feel like we'll still be in the conversation. We'll kind of see what Detroit looks like. They've had an interesting offseason. The Bears are obviously going to be there. So, Kyler Murray does obviously make them more competitive in that division. I think once again, it's going to be a fun division to kind of see how they do against each other and who ultimately ends up winning it. So I guess way too early prediction. How would you stack the NFC North?
I'm going to let you
Brett, I know who you have at number one, but
Packers, Bears, Vikings, Lions.
Okay, so you have the Lions coming last. All right.
I'm going to have I'll probably go Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions.
Okay, it's got the Bears coming third. All right. Yeah, I'd probably go Packers, Bears, Vikings, Lions. I probably would go with that same group there.
I'd say I'm just worried about the Lions because of how much they've lost on that offensive line. Like, they've lost a lot. And if you're going to get Jared Goff in an uncomfortable pocket next year, I think you're going to get some very uncomfortable results.
Yeah, it's kind of been a couple of seasons now where they've been slowly kind of been chipped away at. One off season was the coaching staff. Now it's their old line kind of disintegrating. So not that they're going to completely fall off the map or anything like that, but they do probably need a season or so to probably retool a little bit and get back to where they were before. So not saying that's like short lived for them, but might be a down year. All right. Actually, I think last week we talked about winners and losers, didn't we? So really no need to talk about that again. But is there, I guess not to sound like winners or losers, but is there a team that you think has had an underrated offseason that maybe nobody's paying attention to, that next season, could factor into them making some waves throughout the year? I feel like everybody's looking at the Raiders because of the Crosby stuff, or the Cowboys because Jerry talks often. So you just think about their offseason. Like, is there a team that quietly is doing it the right way?
Baltimore Ravens.
No, since you did bring them up, I am the resident Raven hater. Am I crazy to think that, them just getting Trey Hendrickson doesn't automatically make them better than they were last year? And last year was a down year. Like, I think them losing Patrick Ricard, which once again, Ian's the benefit of that one, is actually a bigger loss than I think people are willing to acknowledge. I thought Likely was a guy that they probably should have brought back, but they were kind of strapped for money, which once again, Ian reaps the benefits of that as well. Like, are the Ravens in a position where they could actually see themselves finishing third in that division next year?
Third? I don't know about that, but it's.
I would say so. I'm assuming you probably have at least Pittsburgh probably number one right now.
Depends who their quarterback is. That's the challenge, right?
Like, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
That's the challenge, right? Like, Could the Ravens actually finish there? Maybe, but like that entire division is such a mess. Like the Bengals still don't have an offensive line. The Ravens are just weird. I don't know how else to put it, but they pretty much lost a lot of. They lost a lot of key players acquiring Max Crosby just to pivot and not get Max Crosby, instead go with Trey Hendrickson. Like very weird situation, but they lost a lot of key pieces. The Steelers, as of this moment, are waiting on Aaron Rodgers to make a choice, probably because they don't have a quarterback right now. So,
you're not buying into Will Howard, are you? I see.
Nah. So say Will Howard, Howard the Duck. Nah, we good on that. Right. So it's weird because like now that I think about it, it's actually very possible. But like as of right now, I don't know what to expect at all from that division. Like, are the Browns going worst to first at this point? Maybe.
Are we forgetting the GOAT Shedeur Sanders right now, leading the Browns to number 1 in the AFC North?
Yeah.
Kyle, imagine the Sanders cult if that happened.
God, I'm not ready for that conversation. I guess look, I agree with you. The division is kind of weird with this offseason because, like you said, Pittsburgh, we don't know the quarterback situation, although I guess Kyler going to Minnesota probably pushes Rodgers back to Pittsburgh because I think the assumption was he was probably holding out maybe to see if he could go to Minnesota since that's where he wanted to go last season. Or he just hangs it up, which I would be completely okay with that. So let's just say he's back. I feel like they seem like they're the most stable. Adding Pittman, I do like. The Bengals, yes, still have offensive line issues, but they actually spent money on defense. So I kind of have to give them credit for that. But they're also the Bengals, and you're just like, one way or another, that front office will find a way to screw this up somehow, probably through the draft at this point now. Just said Baltimore lost a lot outside of just bringing in Hendrickson, and just bringing in Hendrickson doesn't fix everything that's wrong. Plus, they have the coaching change, so we got to see what their new philosophy is offensively and defensively. And then you have Cleveland, who, until further notice, they're just Cleveland right now. And I don't know, maybe they start turning the corner with Monken at coach. I'm not the biggest Todd Monken guy to begin with. So, good luck to them. But, if the Browns have a strong draft, maybe we look at them a little bit more seriously, because I think, I don't know, it's probably a division that you win once again next year. Probably 9-10 wins if you're lucky.
I will say, though, if we're going for teams that are kind of had underrated off seasons that won't get talked about, I think the Jets are doing a really good job so far.
Okay.
I think that, one, they haven't done anything stupid yet, which is really at this point in free agency.
Give them time.
Right, but I think the thing that I like, though, is they're adding experience to help these young guys, right? Mm-hmm. Demario Davis, Minka Fitzpatrick, they also added Joseph Tsai. Like, they added talent and some vets that can help these young guys, teach them the ropes and give, Aaron Glenn something to build around for, this next upcoming season. So I do like the Jets right now, but I know just because I said that, they're about to probably pull the most brain-dead maneuver. But, hey, good job, guys. I think the Raiders are actually doing a good job, too, so far. I don't think any of their moves have been I think both teams haven't done anything dumb so far, which, given their track record, is really good for them.
That's fair. That's worthy of calling it a win of sorts. Let's see. Okay, so I guess Ian is there. I guess some team you wanted to shout out for. Probably off season we're not talking about.
Yeah, the Giants. The fact that we cut Evan Neal and then picked him back up, that was a steal. At least it wasn't for an Eric Flowers level signing like Miami did, 3 years, $36 million. So I'll take what I can get. But no, I really think the Giants had a fantastic offseason so far. Getting a lot of players, like positions of need, like Calvin Austin and who's the other? Oh, Darnell Mooney for way less than we would have had to pay Wandale for. And just getting Patrick Ricard in there too is going to be fantastic. He's a great blocker. Very big guy too, hard to bring down. Even give him the rock a couple times in the red zone. Complements Scat very well. So Scat gets a little banged up, could put Ricard in. Isaiah Likely's a great blocking tight end too. Tremaine Edmonds is a good linebacker. Just a lot of good things going on. Finally getting a kicker. I'm really excited about that too. We haven't had a kicker because Gano keeps pulling his hamstring or something. I don't know. He should just retire.
Yeah.
There's a couple of times a couple of years ago the Giants went in knowing Gano was not going to play. This was under Dable, and we decided not to get a kicker before the game. And then anytime we got in a field goal range, we just had to go for it, and we ended up with 0 points that game. So it was pretty cool. So I'm glad we're actually going for a kicker now. So
I hope we get a kicker.
No.
Traden says that the Jets are weird though. Why get all these 1-year deals for aging guys but have no quarterback till next year after the draft? Why spend the money and why not just stockpile?
I feel like this gives you ammunition to stockpile though, right? Like if DeMario Davis is balling, somebody's going to come offer you maybe a day 2 pick for him. I'll say maybe day 3 because he's old, but if Minka's balling, maybe they'll offer a day 2 pick for him. I think in order to stockpile, you do have to spend the money to stockpile. So that's kind of it too. Like these are all on good contracts too. Like Minka's the worst one, I guess, at 3 years, 40, but I don't even think that's terrible. So I think they got all these guys on contracts that are also flippable, and they can get positive assets for them unless they completely fall off a cliff.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you just sign 1-year deals, I mean, worst case, they all expire and you just have cap space the following year. Like even as a Patriots fan, I will never say the Jets are doing anything correctly. They just don't in my eye. If I get what they're doing, good for them. Damien, you missed the Justin Fields talk because I know you're a Justin Fields guy, but what do you mean the Jets haven't done anything stupid? They traded for Geno.
I'll argue that was smart. They need a tank commander. They need that number 1 pick. So who's not on the closer? Geno Smith helped the Raiders get that number 1 pick. Now it's time to help the Jets, buddy. Throw as many hole shots to safeties as you want. Go for it.
What's up, Jory? Free agency winner. So I think we talked about some of these teams last week, but I will say quickly. Well, I'll give it. I guess we can each give a team that we have as a winner. I would say Jory's team, Tennessee. I think they're having a good free agency period. I will give them a win. Brett, Ian, who's your free agency winner?
Say. Let's see this one. It's a little tough because there's a lot of teams that did really good. I thought in my eyes.
I can agree with that.
I really. If I had to pick one winner, though, you know what? I'm going to shout out the Rams. I do like the additions that they put in the secondary. They had 2 firsts in the first round, and they traded the worst of the 2 to do a potentially upgrade to at least to a Pro Bowl, a legit Pro Bowl or all pro level corner. So, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stick with the Rams. I really like what they've done to attack their weakness in the secondary.
Okay. Ian, who's the team for you?
I really like what the Raiders are doing this offseason too. They're getting more depth at the line. Tyler Linderbaum getting Kwity Paye, helping on the other side of Max Crosby, even getting Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean. Great additions to the linebacker position for the Raiders. So I think they just had a great offseason. Not really a fan of the Naylor deal, but they'll probably do something else at wide receiver other than Naylor. So
I guess before we move off, Max Crosby. Is he now a Raider, or do you think he gets moved somewhere else? See, Damien, this is where you go off the rails, man. I would have traded for Dylan Gabriel, then trade. Okay. Well, I guess if you wanted to truly tank, I get it. Yeah, if Gabriel goes there, like you're probably not winning a game. But
I just wouldn't give up tangible assets for Dylan Gabriel. Okay, like here's the thing: like Gino was literally good just 2 years ago. So even in all seriousness, like maybe there is potential for a bounce back. So we literally just saw him be like one of the most accurate deep ball throwers in the league 2 years ago. So there's potential for a bounce back. Max Crosby situation, the purple pterodactyls got cold feet and wanted to keep their first and backed out of the deal. Like there's nothing more to it. They're going to spin it however they want, but it's pretty clear that the Ravens they got cold feet. They saw that Hendrickson's price dropped, and all of a sudden he was a lot more available than they thought. And that was that. They nixed the deal. They can't claim medicals. Like, we all knew the dude had surgery. We knew he wouldn't hold up right now when it came to medicals. So it's one of those things where you kind of knew what you were getting. We knew he's still going to be recovering, and they got cold feet, and they decided instead to pivot to Hendrickson when they realized that he was actually gettable for them. So,
yeah, I'm kind of curious as to what they expected a knee to look like 8 weeks after surgery on a meniscus tear. Like, were they expecting it to be miraculously healed and just, oh yeah, this is good? The thing about draft picks is that they're also risks. You're not necessarily going to hit on all of your picks. So when they deemed that it was too risky for 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby, are you saying that your 2 picks are going to turn out to be better than Max Crosby? I agree with Brett. They got cold feet. They didn't want to do it. They saw the price drop. That's all that they did. They just nixed the deal. Because in reality, Crosby is worth those 2 firsts.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Max Crosby's 28. 5 years down the line. Crosby a Raider, or is he somewhere else?
Somewhere else. I don't know. I feel like they'll still try to move him this, off season, but even if he ends up staying, like I don't think he survives the next off season even if he does stay for this one.
Okay. Yeah, maybe 5 years is a little bit too far out. They screwed the Colts, so I'm happy about it. That part of the story is also crazy to me. Hendrickson was literally about to sign with the Colts, and then this whole swerve happened. So I guess the culture kind of upset as well. But all right, so Brett thinks Max Crosby could go this offseason, or probably he doesn't survive next offseason. You feel the same way, Ian, about him?
Yeah, I think right now his value is too high, and with the needs of the Raiders, they need to look at who they can get rid of, who's not necessarily not that Max Crosby isn't viable to the team and isn't going to help the team succeed, because he is. But which one of your asses can you part ways with and find somebody else to fill the void that gets you the most in return? And Max Crosby is going to get you the most in return right now off the Raiders. So in order to do this rebuild right, you're going to have to move off of him. It's unfortunate, but that's probably what's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're the Colts, you have to be reminded of this and the fact that you just missed out on Hendrickson. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. All right, so I guess let's go to the tournament here, because obviously it is the madness of March is about to begin, and once again, I'm pointing it out. I am not a bracket expert, so don't fill out your bracket necessarily off of what I will say. I'm not going to say I won't lead you wrong, but, hold on. I feel like Crosby injured himself on purpose just to go. Okay. See, David, he was hurt before the trade, so.
Cut his knee open again.
So I guess he said, yeah.
Let me mess with this. Just stir this up a little bit.
He just like walked into the doctor's office and grabbed a scalpel and just
just
cut his own knee
hacked
open.
away.
I can't feel my leg.
When your legs don't work like they used to.
Which, I mean, if that did happen, that would be hilarious.
Just rolled in there like Ricky Bobby and then stabbed himself. Just like,
yeah. Damien. All right, so here we go. The bracket. I guess we'll take it region by region. Don't necessarily have to we're not necessarily gonna fill out one or anything like that, but kind of talk through the regions and kind of see where your heads are at. Have you both filled out a bracket by now?
I have not yet.
Not yet, no.
Okay. So I guess we'll get your initial thoughts looking at the bracket then. Miles Garrett cries and complains too much. I'm tired of it. Well, he's miserable in Cleveland. So Duke, I believe they were the number 1 overall seed. They have notable teams like UConn as their number 2. Michigan State, the 3 seed there. Got Kansas at 4, which we'll circle back to that because I think Kansas is one of those teams that interested to see how far you think they could go in this bracket with the whole Peterson stuff and everything like that. St. John's at 5, who apparently is getting a lot of attention for being a 5 seed because people think they should be a higher seed because of being the Big East champion and destroying UConn the way that they did. I heard Mad Dog and Stephen A talking about that. They think that's wrong, whatever.
And I believe that they were the number 1 seed in that tournament too.
Yeah, I think St. John's was the regular season champion as well.
Yeah.
Hey, to be fair though, doesn't that just kind of help them out for now? You can avoid.
Yeah, sometimes being seated a little too low can work in your favor.
Right, I guess unless you'd rather have Kansas in the second round, assuming they win their first round against Northern Iowa. I would imagine this actually probably works out for them in the long run.
Okay. So, I mean, those, I guess, some of the notable teams in Duke's bracket. I guess, quick overview. What chances do you give Duke of getting out of this? And if you feel like they're going to fall, who's the team that takes them out?
I feel like based off where they are, the teams that could possibly be a threat would be St. John's for me.
Okay.
Just because I don't really think that they'll have an issue against Siena or the winner of Ohio State and TCU. And I feel like St. John's will beat Northern Iowa and most likely Kansas. So I feel like that's going to be their toughest matchup to get to the final.
Okay. Brett, how you feel about Duke getting out of this bracket?
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's tough because I feel like obviously they probably should get out of this bracket. This is a very talented Duke team, but I'm gonna say they don't. And that's the hard part though. Who's knocking them? You know what? I don't think they do. Who knocks them out? I would probably have to go if I was being making a logical guess. Probably St. John's. But this is what I love about March Madness. It's illogical. So watch it be like TCU in the second round.
Right. Yeah, I think it is a challenging draw for Duke. I know some people think they may have the hardest draw of the number 1 seeds. I actually think Duke probably makes it to the Elite 8, and I think they get knocked off there by Michigan State. I do think that they do meet up with St. John's. I think Duke gets by St. John's. I think it would be a really fun game. I think St. John's will be up for it and will give them every challenge in that game. But I think Duke gets by. But I think ultimately Izzo's Michigan State squad knocks them off. Which, once again, disclaimer, I'm not an expert. So if I'm wrong, I'm just a guy filling out a bracket like you are. Arizona. Another interesting number 1 seed. They have Wisconsin as a 5 seed. Trajan, if you're still in here, I know you're a Wisconsin fan. Looking at Arkansas at the 4 on the 4 line. They're an interesting team to watch. I saw them a little bit in the SEC tournament. Very talented team. I got AJ DeBonsa, BYU squad on the 6th line. Gonzaga, everybody's favorite when come around March. They're the 3 seed in this bracket. And then Purdue on the 2 line. So how do you like Arizona's path? Well, same question. Do you see them coming out of this or somebody else?
Well, no, obviously Wisconsin's taking it over on that side.
Wisconsin's interesting. Like I think this year's Wisconsin team a little bit different than previous years. Like this Wisconsin team loves shooting the 3. Not something that you normally think about with Wisconsin. So we know in March, you get hot from 3, you can do some things. But yeah, so I guess who do you have standing in Arizona's way, or do you have Arizona making it out of this bracket?
So you know what? I'll pick BYU to take them out.
Oh, you believe in, I guess, AJ's squad?
I do. I love AJ as a prospect. I think he's gonna. Let me put it this way. I think he's gonna be. I think he might solidify himself as the number 1 pick in the draft with March Madness.
Okay, it's kind of like a Carmelo Syracuse type thing.
Oh yeah,
where Carmelo went on that March Madness run with Syracuse and they won the title. I'm not saying that you're saying BYU is going to win the title, but okay, that's interesting. What about you, Ian?
I feel like there could be a couple of teams that could give Arizona a little bit of a fit. Wisconsin's done a great job against high seed teams, so I feel like they could definitely pose a threat. Arkansas is real scrappy. They're very tough. Also, Purdue is just a good team too. So if I had to pick one, I'd probably say most likely one out of there would be Arkansas to play against Arizona right away. But if we're going further down the line, I'd probably say Purdue gives them a good run.
Purdue's that team that for so many years I always bought into, and they always disappointed me in March. I told myself a couple of years ago I would never fall for it again. So I'm not buying into Purdue just off of that. I do like Arkansas. I think they're an interesting team. You know, they have a lot of guys who just are, can get to the rim and everything like that. They also have a bit of a bust factor for me. So I don't know how much I want to buy into them necessarily. I actually think Arizona gets out of this region. I think it would be interesting for story-wise if, BYU could do it with AJ, but I'll give this one to Arizona. Let's go to the South, where Florida is the number 1 seed, although I heard it was going to be Houston, but because Houston's one of the hosting sites, they couldn't be the number 1 seed or something like that. I'll have to verify that. But Florida's the number 1. Houston, the 2 seed. Illinois, 3. Nebraska at 4. And I heard the stat that Nebraska is the only team in this tournament that's never won a tournament game. That seems like a lot of pressure to put on the guys there. But they have Troy. Vanderbilt, North Carolina at 6 is a team that I have questions about, but they could prove me wrong. And then I guess St. Mary's at 7, kind of it in this region. Although A&M at 10, maybe as a double-digit seed, could be an interesting team.
I'm so excited to have either the greatest or worst bracket of all time. I try so hard to predict upsets that either my bracket looks awesome or it just looks like the worst thing ever, and you're like, "What were you thinking?" Don't ask me for March Madness advice, guys. I just go straight off pure vibes most of the time.
Of Damien's question, Do we think the Florida team scared? Oh, scared of Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt did literally just beat them, and now they're in the same bracket, in the same half of the bracket as them. So I guess, do you see Vanderbilt as a threat to Florida? Do you think Florida gets out of this? Once again, how do you view Florida's path in the South?
I don't think Florida survives. Say
Okay.
you know what? I feel like this. It feels like I'm getting vibes that this is going to be the bracket for an upset. Granted, I don't think it's Florida loses in the first round, but yeah, no. I think Vanderbilt beat them pretty comfortably. In that last match, up to a point where I genuinely think that they're going to beat them again in the tournament.
Okay. Ian, how are you looking at the South?
Yeah, I don't really think Florida makes it out of this one. I think Houston will probably make it out.
I'm there with you. I'm a big fan of Houston. I love the way that they play defense. I think offensively, I think they do enough offensively. And Florida has challenges for sure. Like Florida plays kind of a big lineup, and I think against some schools that's going to work. I have Houston coming out of the South as well. All right, Midwest final region. This is the Michigan region, so they're the 1 seed there. Notable teams: Iowa State on the 2 line. They have that. I can't pronounce his last name. The sharpshooting guy with the European last name. Impressed by him. I feel like he's a guy who could carry them on a run. You got Virginia on the 3 line, a team that's had some interesting moments in March. Jory's Bama squad 4, although I believe I read that some player was removed from the team for being arrested with weed or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drug charges. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing to do the week of the tournament. Hey, crazy.
They don't make
Texas
enough
Tech.
money as it is. So they don't make enough money as it is. They got to do drugs on the side too.
Crazy. Texas Tech. Right. Oh, go ahead.
I'll say, hey, maybe you gave a great deal. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Hey, round of 64, but get your Coke for 64% off. grab them while supplies last.
Yeah. Florida keeps being doubted. They were doubted last year. No, that's true. I just really like Houston, so I feel like it's a matchup that's destined to happen. Florida and Houston in the Elite Eight. I would pick Houston in that one. I do like Florida. See, Georgia as an 8, a double-digit seed. I've heard some people talking about Akron.
The Zips.
You got Santa Clara. So what do you think about Michigan's path here in the Midwest? Who stands in their way, if anybody?
Iowa State.
Okay.
It's so weird. Like, I feel like I should pick the 1 seeds to make it every time, but like,
I feel like that philosophy gets you far with the women's bracket.
yeah.
I feel like you do that in the men's bracket, you are setting yourself up to be frustrated by the second weekend. Houston does have a nice squad. Yeah. So you got Iowa State. Okay. Ian? Michigan or somebody else?
Oh yeah, Akron's taking them down. No. St. Louis might be a tough matchup for them. I feel like St. Louis is going to beat Georgia. St. Louis could be tough for Michigan, just some of their bigs that they have. Bama also puts up a lot of points too, so that could be difficult with a Michigan team that struggles to get going at times. But I really feel like it's going to be Iowa State, Michigan, though, at the end. So I think Michigan should come out of this one. They are the better team, but Iowa State's probably a little sore after their loss to Michigan in the tournament, so maybe they come prepared and pull the upset on them.
I do like the Iowa State team as well. Like I said, I can't remember his name, but the dude who shoots the threes, like he he hit some tough ones in that game. Alabama is interesting because they will score a lot. The questions will be defensively, do they get enough stops to probably knock off a potential team like a Michigan or, even like a Texas Tech? Like, I think Alabama can put a lot of pressure on you if they have it flowing offensively to try to keep up. I mean, we'll see how far that takes them, but I would probably say we're probably headed towards Michigan and Iowa State in that one. So before I get your champion pick, what do you think about the Miami Ohio situation where 31-1 and the committee puts them in the first four? Because I heard the conversation on the ESPN desk. Jay Billis is not a fan of it. He feels like with the season that they had, if you think they're a legitimate tournament team, then they should have been in the main draw and not the first four. Greenberg and Jay Williams was like, hey, first four or not, you're in the tournament. Now you can kind of prove some things. Are you fine with Miami of Ohio being in the first four? Or do you think they deserve better?
Let's say you said about Miami being in the first four?
Yeah, Miami of Ohio, because we know there's a lot of talk about them, their season, because they have one of the worst strength of schedules, but it was kind of hard to deny the long winning streak that they were on, which ended, late in the year. And now they're an 11 seed having to play their way in to the 64.
It's funny because it feels like they should have just made it in off the winning streak alone, but yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem with it either way.
Okay. So just wondering. Ian, you have an issue with that?
It's kind of hard with the teams that don't really have that strength of schedule that pull up these numbers like this, where they go on the 31 win streak, and then they finally play against a team that's good. But it should get some sort of credit, which, I mean, they are getting some sort of credit by playing in the first four, and if they win, they'd be the 11 seed. So that's pretty good for them, especially with the strength of schedule that they've had. Getting seeded at 11 if they win, I would call that a win for them.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it's not that big of a deal. I think if you're Miami of Ohio, use it as some motivation, take care of SMU, and then take your chances with Tennessee after that. Okay, so with all of that, who do you have in your championship game, and who do you have winning, cutting down the nets at the end of all of this?
You know what? You know what's funny? I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really have an answer for that right now.
That's fair.
The
bracket did just come out. It is definitely a lot to take in. I definitely understand.
Don't worry. When I finish my bracket, I'll make sure to share it with the group. But for right now, yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, I do a lot of my picks. Like, I try to take stats and everything into consideration, but it's just so random half the time. I just do it out straight like vibes. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really think too hard about March Madness.
I mean,
this is the second part of Madness. So
yeah,
honestly, as of right now, I couldn't tell you who I'm gonna pick as the winner until I actually do a bracket.
So I will change the question to this. What is kind of like a bracket rule that you live by when you do fill it out, if you have one? Whether it's a team, certain seating that you always look to. Do you have any kind of trends you like to follow when you fill out a bracket?
Normally I just pick Purdue to lose in the first round every year, and that works out well for me.
I agree. It's so unpredictable. That is what makes it a lot of fun.
No, I honestly, like I said, I don't really have any rules I follow. I just try to take as much data as I can, and then and then when I'm going through the matchups, and then when I make the final choice, unless like the data is overwhelming, I'll just kind of go off my gut feeling and run with it.
I mean, a lot of times that's kind of the best way to do it.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll just pick them because I think the names are fun.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna lie. Like really giving
Yeah.
I'm eyeing up like Wright State right now. So like I said, just straight vibes. That like I feel like that makes it more fun though.
Mhm. No, I respect that. Like I said, the disclaimer is right there. Not a bracket expert. Um, I mean, Ian, when you're filling out a bracket, like how do you go? Are you the type that goes like upset heavy? Do you lean more towards favorites? Like how do you go about filling out your bracket?
I feel like there's certain favorites that I'll like, lean towards, but then I do go for the upsets a lot, just
Okay.
because I don't know. There's certain teams that I feel like they weren't hot going in, but got seeded high, or there's teams that are seeded low that are hot going into the tournament. So we kind of look at that way. But sometimes I just flip a coin, just toss it up. I'll make like maybe 2-3 brackets, and the coin flip ones I'll just swap. So I don't do that great. So don't take my advice.
That's why I said it. We're not trying to come across as bracketologists or anything like that. Like we're
Never
just
won
like
the million.
probably 95% of the people who might be watching. We like the bracket because we like the tournament and we fill it out just for fun.
Yeah, and if I happen to get the perfect bracket and win the $1 billion challenge, yeah, I'll absolutely take it.
Right. Those people also fascinate me how they can stumble across like a perfect bracket. Like you have to be consuming college basketball like 24/7 to truly understand this team's going to do well against that team because there's so many teams to try to keep track of.
And it's so funny. It feels like everybody wants to do all this research, but it's always that one person that has like they don't even know what a North Carolina is, and they're always the same people that are like, "Hey, I got the best bracket," today. I'm like, "Good for you, buddy. That's awesome."
Right. I think the key thing is getting past opening weekend because that's where I think most people their bracket just goes up in smoke. If you can make it past that, you might be on your way to winning your group or whatever, your office pool, anything like that. If you lose your champion in the first weekend, yeah, you're probably screwed.
I think the only time I was ever super competitive in a March Madness bracket was the first year I ever did one, but that's only because like the first year I ever did one, it was like in high school, and me and my two other buddies, their names are like Brian, but I call him BA, and Adam. Shout out to my boys. Hope they're doing good. But yeah, no, we all did one, and of course we threw money on the line. And of course, like to me, honestly, I wasn't even in it for the money. I was just in it for the bragging rights over them. So yeah, it was intense. I think the team that clutched up for me that I ended up winning it was because I picked, I believe it was Coastal Carolina upset in the first round, and that really helped me in the end. So
yeah,
that will always be my favorite March Madness bracket. The time where I beat BA and Adam. So yeah, I always love this time of year though. It's a fun tournament to watch.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess maybe final question before we get out of here. Because so Brett, you did mention that moment, Coastal Carolina. I guess Ian it's like a great March Madness probably memory for you that sticks in your mind.
Yeah. Before I really even got into college basketball, my science teacher had us fill out brackets, and I had not heard of half of these teams, and I picked Villanova to win just because I liked their name, and they ended up winning the whole thing, which got me like an additional like half step up for like my grade. So instead of getting like an A-, I got an A. So I was like, oh, that's cool. But yeah.
Was that the one where they beat North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay. That probably for me might have been the best championship game. For it to come down to a buzzer beater like that, both teams going like throwing haymakers at each other. That was a really good game. And for me, like the whole Purdue thing, my beef with Purdue, I actually liked Robbie Hummel at Purdue. So every time I got in the bracket, I would pick them to go further because I was like, Robbie Hummel, great player. He'll lead them. They lose like in the second round every year. So I'm at the point now. I have sworn off Purdue past the second round, and 1 year is probably going to screw me, but it hasn't done so far. Like that's like the one rule I go off of. It used to be Georgetown, but Georgetown hasn't been in it in forever, so I don't really worry about them. They were another team I would never pick to go far in March. Duke teams, it kind of depends on the certain team. I think this Duke squad's pretty good, so we'll see. All right. That's all I really had. Get that out of here. All right.
Kansas and Kentucky are another teams that are kind of like iffy now too.
Yeah. Actually, Kansas was probably the team that burned me before Purdue started burning me. All because of Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is my guy, so I was like, Kansas, they always had like a player or two on their team that I was like, I really liked, and then they would lose in probably the most amazing fashion. Kentucky's kind of the same. Yeah, I agree with that. Although now I think I'm probably too much on Houston's bandwagon because the past couple of years I've been picking them to go pretty far. Just like their style of play. So I will say, I actually don't have a trivia question this week. Completely did not cross my mind until we started. So I'll have a trivia question next week.
I want to throw out I do want to throw this out too, by the way, because I've been seeing too much of this. Guys, NFL free agency isn't over. Stop acting like your teams are playing tomorrow. I see too many just like, well, like I don't have a little linebacker, a offensive lineman, a defensive tackle. Like, you still have the draft, like the second wave of free agency. Like, you can poach guys off the practice squad, and all that fun stuff during training camp. Like, it's really annoying because, ironically, just Packer fans like doing this stuff all the time. Like, dude, we don't play football for like another 6 months or whatever. Like, there's still time to add talent. So if your team hasn't made the move you're looking for yet, like they hadn't added a certain position, just relax. Y'all will be good. I promise.
Tired of the city of Houston, yes. I guess the insight to that is Houston not happy with Tennessee right now. With the Tennessee, I mean, you guys have seen Tennessee's new uniform. They're rebranding. It looks like the Houston Oilers color scheme. So Texans fans are sitting there like, that's our brand. You can't take it, even though the Houston Oilers moved to Tennessee, so it kind of followed them. It's a whole thing. But yeah, Brett, I can completely agree with you with free agency, which I guess before I go with mine, like Ian, Giants fans, like, well, what's the one thing that they're kind of hounding the team to go get? That kind of like Brett said, free agency isn't over and it's still the draft. Like, where are the Giants fans being insufferable about? If anything, maybe they're just loving life right now.
They're just like wanting big name wide receivers, trading for a big name wide receiver. We don't need a big name wide receiver. We have Malik Neighbors. We can get a comfortable guy that can just fill in the slot, deep threat, something. You already have the Swiss Army knife of Malik Neighbors. You don't need another number one guy now.
They watch, like, what's it, Deontay Banks play cornerback all year for you guys, and they want a wide receiver?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and all the groups that I keep seeing, they're like, oh, we need to draft a number one wide receiver. And I'm like, are we forgetting? And we just brought in Newsome, and get who else? But thought we brought in another cornerback as well. But I don't know. And then I keep seeing things about Jeremiah Love, and that's just pissing me off.
I feel like all of a sudden he's become like the guy in the draft.
Like I don't understand why the Giants would do it. And then like, oh, Harbaugh is meeting with Jeremiah Love. We're gonna get our another number one running back. And I'm like, why? Why?
Next month we need you on the draft show for the Giants pick.
I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if I can handle that.
We need that reaction just in case it's a running back.
If it is, we're doing a surprise trip to New York and we're getting Harbaugh out.
So maybe it is this right here. Most fans don't trust the GM, so they get so obsessed with free agency instead of the draft. Maybe that is what it is. But like Brett said, I think we need to calm down because look, every day I have to get up and see Patriots fans just sitting there like, this is the day we get AJ Brown, which I'm like, we're not going to do this. I get it. They lost Stephon Diggs, so everybody's like losing their mind. I really like Romeo Doubs. I think Romeo Doubs can do some things in Josh McDaniels' offense. Would I like AJ Brown? Sure. I don't think it's that pressing of a need. I get it. The connection with Vrabel and everything is why people are losing their mind. Supposedly, AJ Brown is a big fan of the Patriots. That fuels it as well. But let's calm down a little bit.
Oh, the Hawks give away the Magic City getting canceled.
I guess if you guys want to, yeah.
I'll let you know my one, like, the thing I find funny about it, right? Like, so obviously, if anybody doesn't know, Magic City is a strip club in Atlanta. It's got terrific lemon pepper wings, by the way. 10 out of 10. Anyway, it absolutely, like, I tasted them and I'm like, damn, I can see why Lou will up the bubble now. Yeah, but no, and obviously they're going to do a partnership with the Atlanta Hawks, but then, you know, there's some guys speaking up like Luke Cornett, and then the NBA stepped in and canceled it.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's funny that they canceled, you know, Magic City night, which is fine. You don't want to, guess show your family or show kids, you know, Magic City, you may not know it yet, whatever. But I just find it funny that you're like, you know, we got to cancel that. It's not good for the family. It's not good for the kids. And then the next thing I see, yeah, we're going to have a night sponsored by Patron. Like, okay, you want to sit here and talk about, like, Magic City and, you know, strippers being bad for families. But, like, I feel like alcohol is, like, probably a bigger problem with most families. So it's one of those things where it feels like they're really white-knighted this. But you're just looking at them like, what? Like, you literally are sponsored by liquor and gambling. So, like, what this is where we're drawing the line? That was just weird.
Right. And when they have those Patron nights, they're bringing in Patron. But when they have the Magic City nights, it's not like they're bringing in the girls.
Right. It's just like wing. They're like, only booze, no boobs.
Yeah. Look, it's... I don't know. It's just crazy to me. I mean, number one, Hawks fans have to go in there and watch the product. Like, come on, give them something. All right? If they want to do Magic City, let them do Magic City. If they want to do Magic City, then the next week do Patron. Go all out. Have a party the rest of the year. Obviously, the Hawks are like playing better now, but you know it is what it is.
Dude, the tickets were going crazy for Magic City night too. I don't want to hear it too, by the way, from like some of these guys in the league, like Al Horford. You know, it's like, well put, Luke. I'm like, yeah, Al, you have a problem with strippers, but you were the first to back Ime after he broke up his own marriage by sleeping with somebody on his own, you know, staff. So, like, you can't sit there and speak out against one thing when you support other, when you clearly are a fan of other things that are probably even worse than a kid asking, "Hey, Mom, what's Magic City?" Right. Like, I just feel like sometimes, like, watching some NBA players speak out on this too is just wild to me. Like, yeah, Al Horford is not the moral compass I'd be using here.
For me, it was just like Luke Cornett was not even going to be in the building because they weren't playing Magic City night, and I was like, why why are you the one to say something? But hey, it is what it is. I think it said like some employees said stuff, sponsors. I get it. Once you hear like sponsors had something to say, you kind of knew where the league was going to go with it. So, okay. I mean, there is that, yes. Al Horford's still salty. I mean,
maybe when he was at Atlanta, they messed up his order once, and he's like, "Ah, can't have this now."
No, I can tell you, like when he was in Atlanta, the Hawks never really appreciated Al Horford. That's where average Al came from. Like Hawks fans just didn't. They thought he was expendable, which that's it's on them. Not like the Hawks are this great organization just winning title after title to really be, talking about Al Horford, but it is what it is. But yeah, I guess we can end it off of that. Magic season more magic. Okay, see, you had a good question, and then you had to follow it up with that. Like, Damien, I'm starting to learn you, man. You do one thing good, and you just have to follow it up with just blowing it all up.
He's just chaotic neutral. He has to balance it out.
I respect it.
And then of course I'll throw into the And One podcast is hosting March Madness bracket. I actually have two. It's going to be one with a prize, and then there's going to be a free one. The one with the prize, I'm not actually keeping any of the money. The goal is to raise money for a animal shelter called the Labrador Connection. So the way to get into that paid one that I'll be hosting, really simple. You can, Venmo or PayPal me, or just them straight up. And as soon as, I got proof of donation, or, you Venmo or PayPal me, then I'll give you the password to get in. I'm still debating. I know I'll probably at least do a $25 gift card, but I might do some Campbell's as well. So the prize value will at least be $25. So, like I said, the goal is to raise money for the puppies. So, like I said, I'll put both of those on the N1 podcast Facebook page and in the Discord.
Yeah, definitely do that because good cause, and just having some fun with it. I mean, Ian, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No.
All right. Also, I guess Brett want to let them know about Meaty Boys tonight.
Yeah, of course. Catch us on Meaty Boys. We're going to be discussing the fallout from last night's AEW Revolution. We're going to be talking some WWE. Randy Orton is bad guy again. That's fantastic. It's going to be a great night. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a good time. It's going to be great.
Okay. So yeah, I guess next week trivia will be back. I will have a question. I completely forgot about it this week. We'll talk March Madness at that point next week. We'll see how well our brackets are doing. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. The WNBA seemingly are close to something amidst the talks. They said like today was going to be a pivotal day because now they're getting to the point where the schedule will kind of be affected if this drags out anymore. Both sides seem like they're seeing some progress being made. So if that happens, we'll definitely discuss that next week as well. And I guess anything else free agency wise, we'll talk about that. So make sure you come back next week to join us, to join the discussion, have some more fun. Check out the other shows on the network. Check out Meaty Boys later tonight. And as Brett said, go over to the N1 Facebook page or the N1 Discord. Sign up for the bracket madness over there. I have a bracket for Passionate Precision, the show that I'm on Fridays with Jory and Key. We have that as well. It's in our Discord also. So, you want to join a bunch of them, join ours, and have some fun with it. So, until next week, for myself, Ian, not Garden 2, Garden 3, Brett, we're out of here. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you next week. All right. Bye.